Welcome to Good Mythical MORE. It's time for us to assess the quality of these chips, which have been chosen at random to see which ones are whole.
But first, 10-word story. I'll start this one
You
so
start.
you can end it.
Yeah.
Donovan
Contemplated.
his
Mortality.
while
Careening.
over
His.
okay. Gargantuan. This is all you. This is all you.
Contemplated his mortality while careening over his gargantuan boil.
Oh,
That's gross, isn't it?
What? He's careening. He tripped on his own boil.
Yes.
Donovan
So gross.
contemplated his mortality while careening over his own gargantuan boil. He had a boil. Donovan had a boil so big that it took on a life of its own, and it developed its own limbs, and it walked in front of him, and he careened over it one day, realized he was gonna die, and that's when he finally contemplated his own mortality.
What were you hoping I was gonna say?
Oh, nothing. It wasn't me.
You were just free.
I was just hoping it would be something as good as boil.
Free of expectations. Okay, these chips were chosen just completely at random. There was no feeling, there was no squishing, there was no manipulation of any kind, and we're going to analyze them.
And they've all been handled like this, very lightly.
Because we want to find out how many...
Which chips hold up the best?
Okay, yeah, that's
I mean, but we are doing one bag. So, I mean, maybe somebody before we got this, maybe somebody got these off the grocery store shelves and really got crazy with them. But I was told, Stevie,
Yes.
that you were full of facts.
Oh, I have some facts. Yes, and also these bags were the first bags, like when you walk down the grocery store aisle.
Yeah.
It was the first bag available, so that's how we chose everything.
Yeah,
So it
they
wasn't like going through
Okay.
looking for a better bag.
Now, I know there's a lot of people complain about, chip bags are like 50% air, so you're buying air. Could you just dispel that myth really quick?
Do you know what facts I have?
I mean, I see one of them on his screen.
Oh, okay. I was like, you've never led me so specifically to something before.
I'm gonna just take them out gingerly because these are so nice.
So you're going to make you're going to make a whole
I'm
pile.
gonna make a Ruffles pile and count. I'm listening.
The empty space in a bag is called the slack fill, and it's meant to protect the chips from damage. And usually we talk about them like being puffed up with air, but the cushion is actually nitrogen gas. And chip manufacturers fill bags with this preservative gas to help keep the chips fresh. So if it was filled with just air, the chips would be soggy and spoiled.
Oh, okay.
So the air is your friend, okay? You're not buying more air.
It's the nitrogen is your friend.
Yeah, the nitrogen is your friend. I'm calling that. First of all, Ruffles with ridges are like kicking butt over here. There's only one so far that's not whole.
I'm just calling that a piece. So that's a reject. I'm separating the foldies, which are the best.
I'm putting the foldies as whole. They count as whole if they're folded.
That one's not whole because of that edge right there.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty particular, but yeah, I'd say that's right.
I'm actually really interested in the foldy to whole ratio, as well as the compromised.
Oh, I've hit.
That's totally broken.
I've hit a broken section here.
That's good.
Ruffles are pretty holding up. Pretty.
Lays,
Stevie, do you have more facts?
Lays are great.
I have another fact. Yes.
They're all over the place, as you would expect.
There's a lot of nitrogen, but speaking of air, there's a lot of nitrogen in the air. I mean, I think is nitrogen the #1 gas in the air that we breathe?
Chase's guess is 30%, and he immediately said it after you said something. But now he's questioning himself, and I'm giving you a play-by-play as he's talking to me.
30%, Chase.
He's Googling it.
Well, obviously it doesn't hurt you to breathe it because every time I open a bag of chips,
But that's why, like, 78%? 78% of the air is
78?
nitrogen. That's why, like,
even higher.
if somebody's like, I've got a tank of nitrogen, don't worry. Don't be like, oh, it's going to explode, because no, you're surrounded. Now, if they've got a tank of oxygen,
Very flammable.
first of all, they probably need it. Don't take it from them. And second of all, yeah, it's explosive.
In 1966, Congress passed the Fair Packaging and Labeling Act, which said what?
You better be fair.
You got to be fair about that packaging, y'all.
The weights are
Accurate.
Yeah. Requires manufacturers to
what's it
disclose
called?
the net weight of their
Published.
product's contents to prevent fraud or deceit.
You can't lie about your weights.
But pre 1966, man, they were just lying left and right about their weight.
Mm-hmm.
what is this chip? You know when you get like
It
it's
sounded like you said something else.
it's almost the skin.
What is this?
They sliced it right next to the skin, so it's like a skinny-ish one.
That one's got a tiny hole in it, but I'm counting it.
I think that's a full chip. It's just the very end of
Yeah, I count that.
a tater.
I mean, that doesn't change the experience. Now that I'm getting into the bottom and I'm getting into more breakage. In fact, I'm just going to just empty these out. See if there's any hole in
Because I had made a comment about, on a previous episode, do you ever open a bag of chips and think about that you're breathing in
chip air.
potato chip manufacturing air? But I've now learned that that's not the case.
They put a special mix in.
Well, and we did a whole more that was smelling chip air.
Chip air. Who's got the best chip air?
See, this one is almost complete, but it's not. That's as close as you can get to complete.
These are all
See that little
pieces. Okay, so there you go. That's your average Ruffles bag. You want to see side by side here?
Well, it's one Ruffles bag at random.
Yeah, that's your
I wouldn't
average
say it's
Ruffle
your
bag in this particular scenario. Now, it's not that this pile of non-whole chips is a bad thing. I'd go at that. I'd go at that completely. What's
But when the
happening over
chips
here?
are like this, honestly,
I'm going to push the pile out and I'm going to move to the Doritos.
as much as I like to pick at things because I am picky, I've never really thought about the wholeness of the chips. Of course, now I'm going to be destined to think about it.
Now, my theory is
Man,
that Doritos is going to perform
Worse.
the corners make it really susceptible to breakage. And so I think it's going to be worse than the Ruffles, but I don't know. There's a lot of whole ones right there. Okay.
The thing that I'm discovering is that the foldies are... I'm separating the foldies that are crappy.
Well, because Foldies are technically whole chips if they're whole chips.
Yeah. But then if they're they compromise less often because they're folded. But
See, I'm calling that's a compromised chip. See, the very tip is broken. So close, but no Dorito.
yeah, I think that's going to be difficult.
That's a real one here.
Let's
Yeah,
see. All
my
these little
theory is
pieces.
playing out nicely here. You got any more facts, Stevie?
I don't, but I was just I was just thinking about.
Can't have too many facts.
Well, so question: in your households, do you have bags of chips for the family? Like, is that a snack that's in your pantry?
Every once in a while, especially back in the day when my kids would sometimes accompany us to the grocery store, we'd come back with bags of chips. Now that we get most of our groceries via delivery, we have much more control over what we get, and so we have not been getting. No, we do not get chips.
Yeah, the health in our household snacking has gone way up because we order things. You know, there's none of that impulse buying.
You know what?
But
I
it's
haven't
been-
thought about that. Think about how that has impacted companies that rely on. I know a lot of people are still going to the grocery store.
Like a new product.
And I
or
think you
something.
can go to the grocery store safely, so I'm not saying you can't, but it's like we kind of got used to it at the beginning of the pandemic, and it's just like, hey, let's just keep doing it. And
Yeah.
Now
yeah.
you can't. No one's falling for like. At least we're not falling for like. Oh, this is all stacked up at the end of the aisle. And you also don't do the impulse buys like you said, and you don't do that whole "I'm shopping while I'm hungry" kind of thing. Well, I'm always hungry.
There's something about I don't have chips in my house either, and there's something about looking at like a family size or like what do you call this size? Right, like it's
I
not
call it
individual
reg.
size, but family size. I'll say
Sad size.
it
Or you
makes
talking about the
me
bigger size?
no, it makes me think of like barbecues and parties and like
Yeah.
group activities, and then it just kind of makes me sad.
Oh,
Well, because
back when you used to
exactly.
go places.
Yeah. I also thought the same when you were in the Doritos Cantino. Dorito
restaurants.
Cantina. Yeah.
Now, I think I'm getting to the end here, so I can draw some sort of a Lay's
Wow, you're still in the
conclusion.
Lay's.
Yeah.
I'm
I mean,
almost through the Doritos.
There's a lot of Lay's.
Doritos, I was right about. I think I've actually gotten into the end of these, and there's no more. There are no more whole Doritos. So here's a typical Doritos bag. Again, at least the one that I have. And there's the difference in the pile. See that? That's all the whole Doritos in a full bag. I'll count them in a second.
Okay.
I got to get to Fritos.
Take a look at these. I'm gonna put these over here. All right. So I've got whole. Well, these are compromised. These are intact. These are folded intact, which I'm gonna put right next to it because they count. And these are folded, not intact, which I'll put at the front here. Well, can't really see
Oh,
that.
this is gonna
Put
take
those
forever.
right there.
Frito sorting is not my bag.
So I would say that this ratio here is it's I don't know, like 35-65. What do you think? Whole, compromised, including these. It's a little bit more than a third.
I say it's more like 40-60. Look,
35 to 40.
there's 4 Fritos glued together,
Oh, that is
and
not,
they're all whole.
It is not good. Well, but they're super whole. That doesn't count. That's a reject type situation.
And look, there's 2 together. No, I'm counting those. If they're whole, they're whole.
This is so much work.
Hey, have you guys heard
Yeah, I've slurred
about the Good Mythical Crew, the podcast?
Oh yeah, I heard you were on
podcast?
it.
Oh yeah, let me give a plug. Shall I plug that?
Yeah,
Would you mind?
sure, please.
If you guys don't know, Good Mythical Crew, the podcast, exists on the Mythical Society for second and third degree members. Third degree gets the video version as well. Chase hosts this thing. You got OGs coming in. We got lots of other stuff in the works. So if you want to get the inside scoop on what it's like to work here, straight from the horse's mouth. I'm not talking about Chase. Sorry, Chase.
No, because there is
I'm calling
actually
you
there is a horse.
We have a horse that works here. Go to mythicalsociety.com.
Yeah, we have a horse now.
I'm just trying to figure out what this means,
Huh.
because again, you can get lost into science.
Inquiring minds.
You can put your head down and you can be sorting chips all day. But if you don't reach some sort of strong conclusion, what was the point?
Well, here's what I think the conclusion is. If you are,
I think this is fine to eat.
it's not about whether it's fine to eat, but if you worked at one of these chip companies, and QC came to you and said, "Hey, just so you know, only 5% of the chips in the bag look like the thing that we're selling on the
That's
outside."
not acceptable.
So I think that there is a percentage that they're going for. And if you notice, Doritos, again, the Fritos, Fritos, like, who cares? You know, they're already little.
I don't think you care at all.
I don't
Yeah.
want to keep going through this. But Doritos, as an example, I mean, look at that ratio. Here, look, this is all the whole Doritos in a whole bag. I can basically hold them in almost one hand.
So that's like 20. That looks like 25%
Or less.
or less.
And I'd say with Ruffles, it's about 30%.
And I'm looking at, I would have thought it would be higher than this because you're saying the ruffles are actually lower than the lace. Because we said 35 to 40%.
Surprisingly so, yeah. But about the same. But
I think that the ruffles are damaging each other. It's not the bags being moved around.
the ridges hurt each other?
Yeah.
Oh, the ridges are dangerous. And
But I've also separated, like, the small ones that are frustrating, I kind of inadvertently separated those. So, like, I've got this middle ground here where they're not whole, but these are more than acceptable. See, now we're in a good spot. And I feel like if you would have separated those ruffles, you'd have been in a decent spot. And
separated what ruffles?
if you'd have separated the broken but acceptable from broken and unacceptable.
Oh, yeah,
What
yeah.
I inadvertently did here.
Yeah, and I think that the only thing I'm learning about Fritos is, first of all, a good percentage of them are whole because they're hard. But the thing that I didn't know is that an unusually, unexpected high number of them are doubles, or like they're doubles or triples in that one quadruple where they are stuck together.
I would like to, the only thing I'm really getting from this is I would like to petition Lay's to make a foldy only bag. I've enjoyed it on Instagram. I believe in it. And I'm not talking about a kettle chip, even though I know that the majority of those are foldy and I do love them. That would be a great gimmick. That would sell, man. Foldy only.
It's probably not worth it though. I mean, they have to get a sorter, get a whole new sorter at the factory.
I'll do it.
Maybe a horse will do it.
I'm pretty good at it.
What is it like working for Rhett and Link?
Since it was dark on the GMM stage, I remember I was walking the perimeter and like we accidentally like startled each other, but he like leaned into it and just like screamed at me.